Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park for a Saturday edition of Today at the Races. I'm Dan Ullman along with Keith Fustel. We have a 9-race program headed for you today. Good afternoon of racing yesterday. We had a little Toledo triple.
Yeah, Toledo triple. We didn't have the biggest of prices, but it's still, all in all, when taking a glance at the pick fives, I thought they were respectable payouts considering what we had. But, yeah, Toledo on a little bit of a roll. How about Stroncino's performance? A little aggressive ride early to go ahead and just dust that field.
Who knew he had early speed?
I didn't.
I certainly didn't as well. That horse took money. A lot of people thought he had early speed because he took a lot of money in that race. Very impressive first-time starter from the Gary Cap barn, Dreaming of Alice. A horse that was able to make a couple of moves in that race. Down on the inside, took some dirt, went out, altered back to the rail, and then really roared on home. Really professional performance.
That was strong, yeah. I mean, I was, a little shocked to sustain that kind of run. Was put under a ride early, navigated through a little bit of traffic down inside, and really kept on well through the gallop out. Obviously, a little stretch out shouldn't hurt.
Gary Cap has two more 2-year-olds a little bit later on this afternoon. But first things first, let's take a look at our weather conditions. Thankfully for me, it's a lot cooler than it was yesterday. 74 degrees right now. Hazy skies. We're hoping to maybe fend off a little bit of rain later in the afternoon. But right now, the main track is fast, and the turf course is firm. Race number 1 is at 1 1/8 on the turf. It's a maiden special weight. And as we take a look at this field, the number 6 Cooper will be ridden by Johan Rosado. Field of 7 in here. First leg of the first of 2 value pick 5 wagers. A low 12% takeout on the value pick 5. It is a sensational wager. Maximize your profit potential by taking advantage of the low takeout. It's the best bet in racing. And Keith, you've got a ticket for everybody.
Yeah, 347 for early one yesterday. The late pick 5, 481, considering the payouts.
Great.
Really good dividends there in that early and late value pick 5. Again, 12% takeout. You got a cheaper ticket today, $16. I saw one of my buddies earlier today, and he said, "What you got?" I said, "I don't have anything tremendous. I'm hopefully can kind of string together a couple 3, 4 to 1 shots and make it work. Get you started. Tasker. Thought the return was pretty good. Homestead out of that race as well was DQ. There was a little incident early. Homestead going to take plenty of play in the opener. 2 deep in race number 2. Let's go 3 and 5. Super Needy and Kissling. Race 3 with the 4 and 7. Wonder Girl for Kieran McGee. Lakeside Getaway. Shortening up. Will it be too short today? We're going to find out. Race 4, 3 and 4. Let's go Lando. There's that Gary Cap with the experience and GQ Worthy. Comes out of a little bit of the faster race for those 2-year-olds. And we're going to complete this early pick 5 with the 4 and the 8 Stormy Irish. Last, a little bit of speed comes out. I wanted that speed to stay in. New Boots, the 6 is Scratch, and the 7 Aerial Moon. They are both out of race number 5 for a $16 early value pick 5 ticket.
$16 ticket, 12% low takeout. Take advantage. Let's talk about our top 2 selections in race number 1. Tasker is where you're going. I'm going with Homestead. As you mentioned, they come out of a common race. They both were exiting long layoffs. Tasker was bothered going into the first turn, and I like the way he stayed on after being placed on a hard chase. He also kind of got bumped turning in the upper stretch.
Yeah, he threatened and was used maybe a little too soon. Sometimes these horses get keyed up, especially early trouble. They react to it. He looks excited, they rush up, and that's kind of what happened at Tasker. Then he made another move to threaten little trouble upper stretch. Yes, Homestead won clear, but we've got some questions about Homestead. He's going to be awfully short. What's your biggest concern or concerns with Homestead?
Well, yeah, several concerns. He's a 5-year-old with only 4 lifetime starts under his belt. He missed a year of racing, and I wonder if last time was the time. Kerry Bryan, as she often will do, prepped this horse in a point-to-point race going 1.5 miles on April the 19th. Homestead finished second, wheeled right back 8 days later, and was very sharp in that race. And it's a shame that he came in and tightened up foes because he was the best horse in the race. I didn't like the way he was drifting out considerably through the stretch. Sometimes that's a sign that something's going amiss. And then we miss a month of training before the horse gets back onto the work tab. That being said, I like what Homestead did off of the layoff. I like this horse's tactical speed. And most importantly, this is a distance horse. I think stretching out to 1.5 miles is going to work wonders.
Yeah, and that could hurt Tasker. I mean, but he was He's going to go now second off of what, a 455-day layoff. So I think he'll benefit from that race. But you're right, Homestead, a 5-year, late to the races, didn't get started to early on that 4-year-old season. I'm going to try to beat him 8-1 on the morning line with Tasker. I think it's a fair price. Video Spotlight horses to 3. Gallant Lad, whose debut on the turf, I thought all in all at Gulfstream Park back in December for a 2-year-old. Was pretty good. Really a lot of trouble out of the gate. We're going to watch this one more time.
Trouble coming out of the gate. Just watch that pinch.
Oof.
And the next thing, almost knocked the jock straight out of the irons. And the next thing you know, Gallant Lad is far, far back. And remember again, this is a first-time starting 2-year-old. Now buried down on the inside. So this horse is getting an education in this race. Doesn't break well. Last on the rail, never works out on the turf. And you wouldn't be surprised if Golden Lad just sort of picks up his tent right now and doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But he cuts the corner. He changes leads on cue, and now he gets checked again on the inside, and he stays on his right lead. He stays focused, and he runs on at the end. He showed a lot of ability in this race. They tried him in a synthetic heat second time out, and as we've seen, I think a great angle, improved speed second time out. It just didn't work out because that was a race dominated by closers. The top 3 finishers were 7th, 6th, and 8th at the pace call. Gallant Lad got burned out chasing that pace. The runner-up from that race has run back 4 times. 2 wins, 1 second, 1 third, and is now stakes placed. Gallant Lad fits with these horses and has shown a versatile running style. Keep an eye on him.
Yeah, runner-up from that debut run, the video we just showed you, come back to run a 71 figure, solid next time out, and an angle I like. This is going to be first-time Lasix
Great
turf.
angle. Yep.
So there's some reasons to think Gallant Lad is going to move up in its 3rd career start.
The key to this race, in my opinion, is the number 1 committed games going out for trainer Brittany Russell. And, of course, we have a positive trainer stat for Brittany. Second out maidens, first-time turf. 4 for the last 17, 24%, a positive ROI. This guy has a very strong pedigree. He's a half to a very good horse on the dirt, but he also has a ton of turf pedigree. The dam was multiple stakes placed on the surface, and that dam's a half to 2 stakes winners going long on the grass. Committed Games is coming into this race as a first-time gelding, has speed, drawing closest to the inside. There are a lot of things to like. I wish I liked the complexities more on turf, but you know something? I won't be surprised at all. If Committed Games, arguably the horse with the most upside in the field, runs very well.
Yeah, and you got to figure the horse, because it's Brittany Russell, or early at 7, will drop down and be a shorter price. The complexity, that's the deal for me. That's the deal breaker. 3% with the turf routers. I think we went against one a couple weeks ago. We talked about it. But anything can happen. Certainly strong on that bottom side, though, from a turf angle, is Committed Games. What you got the filly in here, right?
Well, Lorraine is a horse that's very consistent. You're going to get a price out of her. She's hit the board in 5 of 8, and she's finished second in 4 of her last 5 starts. Now, we haven't seen her since Turfway Park back in January, where she was pretty game. The favorite only beat her by 2 lengths after she made an early move. This is a tough spot against the boys, but she's another horse. Distance is her friend, and if it comes down to a 1 1/8 staying contest, maybe she can spice up your single race exotics. I like her underneath. You're going with Tasker. Should be a good price, and again, excuses for the last race. I'm hoping that Homestead can run back to that most recent start. 2-7-3-1 for Keith, 7-1-5-2 for me in race number 1. The second half of our early daily double is race number 2. It's at 6 furlongs, and it's a claiming race for 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 3 races or 3-year-olds. Jim Briseno takes the mount on the 2. Buoyant. This is the first leg of the first of 3 50-cent pick 4 wagers. We offer early, middle, and late. Yesterday, maybe the prices weren't there, but this meet the prices have been there. If you get knocked out of the pick 5, get involved in the pick 4. If you don't get knocked out in the pick 5, get involved in the pick 4. As we like to say in this game, it's good to be greedy. Kissling is where you're going in this race.
I've been waiting on Kissling. It feels like forever. Was claimed back early May, but entered, I want to say a couple times, and scratched. Little concern off the break. This video spotlight, this was good, though. He put it all together back on March 22nd. And in this race, beat a horse that's just kind of gone way up the ladder in improvement. That's Urban Symphony.
Just look at this horse cruising in behind horses. He was rated back in the early stages, and right now you're saying if he gets through, he's going to win just by the way he's going, and he's going to get the split eventually. I love the patience that Hernandez showed in this race. He could have altered to the rail. He's hoping this hole opens up, and it does. And once it does, Kissling makes a quick lead change to his left and then right back to his right, but boy, he just explodes through that hole and wins very, very easily. And the runner-up came back from this race. You talked about Urban Symphony. 3 starts, 2 wins, 1 second, a 77 Beyer speed figure. This horse is tactical enough to stay close. And look at Kieran turf to dirt off the claim.
6 for the last 19, 32% strike rate. ROI, let's just call it $3. He looks to me like an all or nothing because I think if he just brings any kind of improvement, he's going to beat this field. I like the way Super Needy ran last time out, though. Back to a fast track. Going to get that this afternoon.
He did his absolute best that day. He was sort of tracking behind a 3-ply pace duel. He got the split in between horses, and he ran well. The winner of that race, remember, It'll Do. We'll see him tomorrow. That horse was odds on. Super Needy showed that he could step that day. I'm a little bit concerned about the lack of pace in this race. I don't think there's a ton of speed, and maybe Super Needy has to be closer. But that last race at least shows that he's in good form. I wonder if Little Bit Risky is going to be the speed in this race, the number 6. This horse did show big speed on dirt 2 starts back, and I just don't think he can step on the turf.
No, didn't really kind of run at all last time. I'd only beaten a couple, but just never fired. Speed definitely is there. I think his main competition early could be down to the inside in Bueno. Bueno, the horse we've talked about, it likes maybe a little bit more moisture in the track, shortening up. Did that dull the speed of Bueno? If so, I think a little bit risky. Yes, could be alone on the lead. My biggest concern is the drop. But against this field, this horse is going to stretch it a little bit.
Woodline is a horse with lots of minor awards on his page. 5 seconds, 8 thirds. But last time out at Pimlico, they went a legitimate pace, and Woodline had to work to stay close. Opening quarter, 23.6. Second quarter, 23.54. This horse cut the corner into the rail and then flattened out. The 4th place finisher came back to run 3rd and a quarter starter allowance, earned a 71 Beyers speed figure. So maybe Woodline works out an outside chalking trip while clear of traffic. I just don't necessarily trust this horse on top.
That's agreed. And I think 5.5 he might be a little bit better suited at 5.5. I know at Charlestown he's kind of battled there. The 2 turns, 6.5 carries him around there. A little bit of drop. Yeah, stalking, moving, sustaining is going to be my biggest concern with Woodline.
You got the video stat, you got the video highlight, you got the stat on your top pick in here. Kissling 5, 3, 6, and 1. I'm going 3, 5, 7, and 6 in race number 2. Race number 3, 5.5 furlongs on the turf. Fillies and mares 3 and up, which have started for a claiming price of 25 or less, and which have never won 3, or non-winners of 3, 25 down to 20. Take out the MTO. The number 6, Odd Day. The X-Man will be aboard the 2, Sergeant Molly. Daniel Santana will be on the 9, Blessed Candy. I want to start with your top selection in here, the number 4, Wonder Girl. We have a trainer stat for guess who? Kieran McGee. First after 6 months to a year layoffs. Don't worry about it. 5 for the last 13, almost 40%. Giant ROI. When Kieran freshens him up, they come back strong. And this horse has already won off a 9-month layoff when he was with Bob Classaris.
And I go way back. Last summer, August, beats the likes of Gift of Gab. I mean, that's a quality mare on the turf. Has moved up out of those A other events and competed at tougher levels. A Wonder Girl. And we've seen Kieran lately. He's done well with these horses. First time into the barn, sprinting on the turf. Cactus. Upside down, man. Will the trend continue? I think it will, and I think Wonder Girl has the ability to sit just off of it. There's plenty of speed to the inside. Sally's Gold. Sergeant Molly is very, very quick. TC can get involved early. I like a really good stalking trip here for Wonder Girl. See if Kieran McGee can get 2 in a row for me, races 2 and 3.
I'm guessing with the 2, Sergeant Molly, and it has to be a guess because we haven't seen him in 483 days, but his last race at Gulfstream was against arguably better competition. The third place finisher came back and won with a 76 buyer in a first level allowance race. That was a very fast-paced Sergeant Molly was pushing. A 21:55 opening quarter mile in a race where the top two finishers came from last and next to last at the pace call. That pace fell apart, and Sergeant Molly was really compromised by the way the race was run. I trust Justin Nixon off of layoffs. I think he sent out Visby to win off a giant layoff at Charlestown last year, but Visby was 1-10 and found the right spot on dirt. This is a different story. Sergeant Molly's going to show speed, as you mentioned, going 5.5 furlongs. I think this horse just fits very well against this non-winners, a 3 company.
Yeah, if she pops and goes clear, it could be over Sally's Gold from the inside, has to break and get position, gets back to a little bit firmer ground than what she encountered at Pimlico, but I thought that was a good try on allowance condition. Now back to the condition claimer for Sally's Gold for Frock. 2-back try, was able to show the ability to sit just off of it. So Wonder Girl, I think, just needs to time it just right. You know, I think she can make the lead here. Again, that longer run, and we've seen horses close a little bit more on this turquoise than
I've
I'm used
noticed
to
it too,
seeing.
yes.
I mean, the horses are making the runs, they're sustaining. Wonder Girl's going to have to be tied on. Anybody from a little bit further back that you like, somebody 5-6 out of it, turning for home.
Well, getting back to Sally's Gold real quick, this is a double drop-in class.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it all the time. This is a strict non-winners, a 3-life race, and the horse that beat Sally's Gold's won 7 times. And the fact that Sally's Gold was competitive with that horse makes me think that this one's going to run really well today. I'm curious to see how Villalobos plays it. I think if Sally's Gold wants the lead, she can get it. But I think last time they opted for the pocket, and maybe they will here. I think Lakeside Getaway, a horse that's shown speed in her career, is going to be rated as she cuts all the way back in distance. What do we get from Lakeside Getaway, Keith? She's got so many races that make her competitive, but she runs July 31st, 2024. She runs well. Then there's a vet scratch, then there's a long layoff, and then she's vanned off last time out. What do we get, especially at this shorter distance?
And you've got a protect move here, right? They could have put her in for the tag. They don't, obviously, maybe from breeding purposes down the line. That's going to be the key. I just tossed the last in that return try. I read the longer note, lost footing after an awkward beginning. Maybe,
I think they took care of her.
Maybe just wasn't you know, taken to the surface, protected, and then you got the old EQ A and B, transported off the track. Now we're back. Now we're protected. The 2-back try. Now we're going back a ways to Saratoga. Awesome check. Pretty good horse. I mean, he's come back to run well. I think this is the one to make that run. We talked about 4 or 5 out of it. Let that speed go. I think she has the ability to close into this.
But you might get the right flow from stalking, getting the jump on a horse like that. Wonder Girl does well fresh. Kieran does well fresh. 4-7, 2-1. I have to be even fresher. 2-1, 4 and 5 off of the long layoff. Race number 4 is at 5.5 furlongs. It's a maiden special weight for 2-year-olds. The number 3, Let's Go Lando, will be piloted by Esmerio Villalobos. This is the first leg of our 20-cent Chesapeake Pick 6 jackpot wager. Pick the first place finisher in each of the final 6 races. If you are the only one to do so, boom! The entire pool is yours, and the carryover's getting up there. $7,000 almost.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I could use $7K. Got the anniversary today. I'm going to need some money.
You certainly will.
You know, I got to move up from a Happy Meal, I guess, for Gina. So happy anniversary, hon. Yes, Let's Go Lando, Most Smokin'. Video spotlight.
Yes.
We're going to take this one start to finish because there was a lot to take in.
There was a ton to take in. Keep an eye on Let's Go Lando, the number 5 in here. Just going to break and sort of move in between horses. You've got GQ Worthy in here, just getting sort of pinched back. Listen,
Most
Smokin' getting
down
pinched
inside,
back. And now look at Let's Go Lando. Just might not have liked and be inside. So we've gotten 2 horses that have gotten pinched back and they have to recover. And remember, these are 2-year-old first-time starters. This is a lot to throw at them. I like the fact that Mo's Smokin' at least recovered for a brief instant and is now in tight down towards the inside. What an education this horse is getting. And on the outside, Let's Go Lando is recovered now and is clear. Mo's Smokin' is still over and behind horses. Racing on the left lead, now switches on over. Now Let's Go Lando is going to level off and make a run. The winner of this race was Let's Go Lando stablemate, who looked really, really good. I like the fact that Let's Go Lando, who could have easily run 3rd after that trouble, gets up for 2nd in the shadow of the wire, and Mo's Smokin' ran a very underrated race.
Yeah, and here's a stat for Gary Capp. Let's Go Lando, 2-year-old, 2nd out maidens on the dirt. 13 for the last 25, 52%. We talked about the education that Let's Go Lendo got there. A little bit of a wing in that front left and a little green through the stretch, but showed a lot of heart to get up for the place after that trouble.
And he's from that Steady and Love family. It's just a bunch of good horses after good horses. So I won't be surprised if Let's Go Lando just shows a little bit more speed in this race. Mo Smokin', we already know, has that sort of early speed. GQ Worthy ran into another stablemate in the debut, Romeo, who ran away and hid. And Romeo came right back and ran third in the Tremont at Saratoga with a 66 Buyers speed figure. I think GQ Worthy can get forward. The X-Man's aggressive.
Look at the internals comparatively sharper, faster race that he comes out of. Like our comment, reluctant to load, 4 to 3 wide, willing. He was kind of on a race of his own. Romeo was gone. He just didn't lose focus. He stayed focused and kept on going through the wire. Romeo to come back to run a 66 in a stake, improved off of that 63 in debut. Yeah, Jerry Robb, stat play here for Jerry Robb.
7 for the last 26. 27%, a positive ROI with 2-year-old second out maidens on the dirt. That also goes for the number 6 Hoptos, who is an even 5th behind Let's Go Lando in the debut. Jerry runs them well first time out, but if they don't win first out, they still maintain their form second out. So GQ Worthy is certainly a horse to keep an eye on. I'm curious to see what we get from the 5. El Papacito going out for Echo Town, who started off his career as a really precocious sire. 7 for the first 30. 23% with 2-year-old debut winners. This dam's already thrown a 2-year-old debut winner.
Yeah, and it was very, very quick. Maybe we'll get that. And you talk about something we offer on our website, on our handicapping page. Please go to it. William Humphrey and the whole team. I mean, they put a lot of effort into what you're going to get from that. It's free. It's the best deal in racing. I don't know if any track gives you as much information, and down the line maybe we'll get some video spots, maybe we'll get some workouts. We're working on it. But Brasino, who was named on the overnight to the 1, the Gary Cap firster, goes to number 5, El Papacito. A little bit of a tell there.
I think that says a lot because Gary Cap's record with first-time starters. And Probably Dreaming is a horse that you've got in the mix, and why not? This horse sold for a good sum at the debut. My one concern, other than breaking from the rail, which can be intimidating for first-time starters, there's a ton of turf on the bottom of this pedigree.
Down here. Yep, that's my biggest concern there, but I'm going to trust in Gary Cap. Maybe we'll see the one on the dirt and maybe turf next time out. Anybody else you want to touch upon?
Well, I think you have to talk about Mr. Roscoe a little bit. Jose Corrales, again, a trainer that doesn't often win with first-time stars, but many of his 2-year-olds have been overperforming or at least outrunning their odds. This horse comes into this race off a bullet workout.
Yeah, that's one of 50. Trash Talking Larry skipped through the fire, part of this family. Maybe a little bit longer in the offing for Mr. Roscoe, but pay attention. Tab the tote, see how this guy finishes up through the final 3/16 of a mile, and maybe look for him to stretch out like another horse we had of Corrales the other day that's on one of our horses to watch.
But we'll go with the second-time starter, Let's Go Lando, 3415 for Keith, 3542 for me, 4 down, 5 to go. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's time for the late value pick 5.
At the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, we believe in giving every thoroughbred a second chance.
And thanks to you, the owners, trainers, breeders, and every supporter,
you've created a ripple effect of change that's helping these magnificent animals move on to new careers and safe, fulfilling lives after racing.
Every single donation, whether big or small, is contributing to a brighter future.
But this race is just beginning. Because of you, we have gained incredible momentum, and we're ready for more.
Welcome back.
Welcome back
to Today at the Races.
Right.
Race number 5 is the first leg of our value pick 5, and we're going 5.5 furlongs on the main track. It's a claiming race. Fillies and mares 3 and up, which have never won 2 races. Claiming price is 10 down to 8. Take out the 6 New Boots. Take out the 7 Aerial Moon. The number 1 No Tip Tony will be ridden by Esmerio Villalobos.
Yes.
This is the first leg of our second of 2, 12% takeout value pick 5 wagers. And our friend and colleague, Callie Francois, has a ticket for us all.
All right, what's Callie got today?
No Callie ticket.
No
She's
Callie
saving
ticket.
it perhaps for the afternoon.
Save it for later.
Which is good.
All right.
Very, very good. I know who you have in your late pick 5 ticket.
Yeah.
That's the number 8, Stormy Irish Lass.
Let's go to the video spotlight. May 25th. This horse hadn't been seen since October. Wasn't the greatest of beginnings for Stormy Irish Lass. You see that little stumble and then a little jostle right here. We're going to show it one more time. And, she kind of made her own little trouble after she bobbled. She went outward, and horse to her outside just came in a little bit, but was nudged up, urged along early. Never really caught a breather in this race on a track, May 25th, that we have labeled on our website as kind of a speed favoring track. Now, the winner does kind of loop and swoop and kind of buck the bias there. That's Thunder in Paris. We saw her run huge yesterday after a little bit of trouble. But all in all, I think Stormy Irish Lass runs pretty well. Down to the inside, fair trade, right along the rail, those pink blinkers. We're going to get back here today. Made a pretty good run herself into it, just a flat and very late. These are the two I'm going to center around. I wish the speed would have stayed in, New Boots and Arrow Boom, but I think there's still enough intact. And these two are both, they can lay close enough. I think Fair Trade has a little bit more positional speed than Stormy Irish Lass, but if we break well from the outside, maybe Jan Rodriguez can drop in. Just give her a little bit of a break around the turn and then finish up to go by.
I agree. Stormy Irish Lass, I think, is adaptable to any kind of pace scenario. And that last race, as you showed, that was a perfect video spotlight because when you stumble and you miss the break like that, you're really up against it, especially in the first start off of a lengthy layoff where she might have been a bit short. I really liked her maiden win 3 starts back, a race where she was sort of in behind horses a bit on the turn, had to alter course 4 wide into the stretch and gamely wore down the favorite. Yeah. Stormy Irish Lass is a very interesting contender, and I'm starting to have a little buyer's remorse that I only have her 4th. Fair Trade, you talked about, very logical contender as well. Let's talk about What's Your Big Idea. I know What's Your Big Idea didn't run very well last time out. Bumped slightly after the start that day. Advanced to press the pace from in between horses. I wonder if maybe What's Your Big Idea wasn't that comfortable in between because she soon kind of backed out of there, and then she tired very badly along the inside. I do know that What's Your Big Idea does have a little bit of speed, and that she can get close to the pace. Maybe we'll see what we saw 2 starts back, where she might have moved a little bit early on the lead. I think she'll be in the thick of things turning for home. She has some back figures that make her interesting, and heck, this is a race where I want a price. She should be one.
Okay, yeah, I think she's going to have to deal with the 5 debt relief. You've got a Charlestown
I think that's
shipper,
the main speed.
Off the 4.5. I think she's going to be going ahead and going. We did get word. We've got a late pick 5 ticket now to show for Callie. Do we have that?
There we go.
We're going to give you this. Don't want to let our fans down.
Bonds Bell.
Yeah, $36
in the first leg.
ticket.
Very good. Fair Trade, she's going to go with in race number 5. Race 6, she's going 2 deep with Incinerator, the 5. Good old Benny Havens, the 12. Race 7, she's got the 3, the 5, and the 6. In the feature race, she's going Too Many Kisses, My Flicker, and Ginger Girl. And in the finale, 1 and 6. Silver Trinket. Secures Hope. It's a $36 ticket. Take advantage of the 12% takeout. Take advantage of Callie's ticket.
All right, thank you, guys. We got that back for you. Again, I think No Tip Tony and Bonds Bell, No Tip Tony, the blinkers coming back off, just didn't run at all last time. Had a lot of trouble. There was a lot of trouble going on in that May 25th race. I think, she made a little bit of jump 2 races back, was okay. Bonds Bell back quick. She's kind of that chaser and grinder to pick up a piece. If you're kind of looking for some prices underneath, they would be my 2. But I still sent around the 4 and the 8.
Do you see a situation where Villalobos is aggressive with No Tip Tony? It's interesting that this is a horse that's raced 3 times with blinkers in her career, and she's been awful in all 3 starts. I like that Scott Wolfendale immediately takes the blinkers back off, and 2 starts back, I know the pace wasn't very fast, but with the blinkers off, this horse just seems to show a little bit more speed and ability.
Yeah, they may go ahead and try to send, and she's been able to kind of fight it out. Albeit those internals 2 races back, they were kind of pedestrian.
Let's go for some prices in here, Keith. You're going with the 8 Stormy Irish Lass. I think an outside tracking trip. She'll be right there turning for home. I want What's Your Big Idea to be close to the pace. 8-4-1-2 for Keith, 3-4-1-8 for me in race number 5. Race number 6 is at 5.5 furlongs on the turf. It's a first level allowance. $49,000 is the purse. Take out the 3 and the 4. Virginia Fits the 6 will be ridden by the X-Man, Xavier Perez. This is the jackpot super high 5 race of the afternoon. Look at that carryover, $11,117 and growing. This is your classic super jackpot high 5 bonanza, a full field of 12 competitive horses, a great betting race. Good luck hitting the super high 5.
Good luck. I really like the way Incinerator ran at Pimlico, and even the 2-back try was good enough with some trouble. He's had adversity the last couple starts. This is good. This horse kind of breaks okay in that race at Pimlico, a little bit slow, goes up to try to get position in between horses, and all of a sudden hits a little bit of a jackpot here heading into the turn in the reddish silks. Kind of has to steady work, a little block possibly by the TB right there. A couple horses, like 3 of them, all got in a bit of trouble into the turn, but this guy recovers, and recovers nicely.
Certainly does. I think he's helped a little bit because this split is going to be here, but just take a look at the finish. And remember, Bourbon Boss is not only the favorite in this race, but Bourbon Boss wired the field. And once Incinerator was off a little slow and had that steady in the backstretch, it really cost him the race. Look at the fire. The final 16th of a mile to just miss, and he was by on the gallop out. Incinerator, I think, with even a little bit of a better start, doesn't have to be a million lengths out of it. I'm not saying Incinerator is going to be in the first or second flight. This horse is going to make a late kick, but as you said, and you're absolutely right about it, closers have been doing very well on the turf, and I think Incinerator should get at least a fair pace to attack.
Yeah, I believe it's going to come. I think War Humor drafted back last time. I thought they might try to go. They didn't. Maybe we'll see what Santana elects. He's going to be a bigger price. I'm going to use him. Third time Lasix underneath in some exactas. Your horse, Enduring Gold, I think is, when we always use kind of the term upside. He's the upside kind of a horse. We don't know how good he is. He didn't beat a ton. I did not like the way Dat's Tap has come back to run out of that race in 2 subsequent tries, but this guy's only had 3 races under his belt, and that was the first turf effort.
We're going to learn a lot more about his overall quality, but I do want to use this horse in the first leg of our 50-cent late pick 4. Enduring Gold, I thought, showed enough in that race. He wasn't away the best, but he recovered quickly to track 3 wide and in between, attacked in between horses, was kind of forced out a bit turning into the stretch, but then he got away from that field, and he was bet like turf wasn't going to be a problem. He's facing multiple winners. He's eligible for a non-winners of 2. But I think he has the tactical speed to sit off a horse like Dewey's Beast. I think he'll be prominent turning for home, and then I'm hoping the upside kicks in for Trombi.
I think Virginia Fits is another one, a big price. I might have to wait a race, but Lasix going on. This horse is quick. I mean, ran very sharp internals on softer ground, pass on the last couple, but I think Fresh has shown speed. I think he's into it. He's going to help set things up for one of these closers. Enduring Gold, Incinerator, Katie's Notion, back to Laurel. Out of that race, didn't quite fire when down inside at Pimlico. There's lots of ways to go. And your old buddy, Bunny Havens, I think is a must-use in exactas, tries, and supers.
Benny Havens came into his last race 1 for 42. Guess what? He's 2 for 43. He really tried hard to get up at Pimlico, going 5/8 of a mile. Outside post here is no bargain, but if there is a little bit of pace, you can always depend upon Benny Havens, win or lose, to give a good effort. And the same goes for the 11. Zipline to Heaven, who's an old-timer, 5 seconds, 10/3 in his career. Maybe he needed his most recent race. My one concern with Zipline to Heaven as he's gotten older is this. He usually runs great first off the layoff, and last time out he was merely good. So I don't know whether Trombi's decided to save it for second off the bench, or maybe he's going a little bit off form. But he's another horse. He's going to run at the end of the race. Whether it's good enough to win is a different story.
He's getting a little long in the tooth. He's 8. Man, he's had a good career. He's knocked on the door. A lot of wins, 4 wins, 5 seconds, bunch of thirds. There's just, when you look at this race, there's 5 or 6 horses. I look at them, they're all the same horse. Who trips out? And I think
it's going to come down to trip.
And I think we're both looking. I think Incinerator has kind of gotten to another level right now. His ability is kind of shining through, and upside really kind of still unproven. Only 3 races under his belt. Might be the one that kind of jumps up and takes the next step. But lots of ways to go in race 6.
5, 1, 12, and 11 for Keith. 8, 5, 11, and 12 for me in the 6th race. Race number 7, 1 mile on the turf, 3 and up, which have started for a claiming price 25 or less. which have never won 2 races, or 25 down to 20, on which have never won 2 races. Take out number 1, part of the entry, Celtic Prince, part in the 8, the main track only runner, Biravino Boulevard, X-Man on the 9, High Tech Prince, Tai Lai on the 11, Twist and Twirl. Let's start off with your top selection in here. We have a video spotlight for the number 5, Keen Surge.
This was brutal. We're gonna go back and relive this experience at Pimlico, where he was just. I think the wide trip just from the 3/8 pole kind of got him. He makes a really good run into a flow that was strong. I mean, he got to set up this particular day. He's supposed to win it. He charges up 5-6 wide. This is first time blinkers, first time off the claim for Ricky Silliman right here. We got it right. But the winner, got to be proud. He almost was fooled into the win. He got held up so long, he didn't have a chance to really hang like I thought he might. He dug in deep and got the better of Keen Surge. But I think this guy right back is going to be okay. He battled back.
Speaking about Surge, you're right.
Yeah.
He battled back after he was passed and saw Gatto be proud, and I'm not going to blame Daniel Centeno for that race.
No.
What else could he done?
No.
He found a good spot on the backstretch. You have to go to the outside. Keen Surge took him to the lead, and he just got beat at the wire. I think King Surge is the horse to beat. I think he's the best closer in this race. Here's another guess, the 1A, Kansas Comet. We haven't seen Kansas Comet in what? 703 days.
Yeah.
But guess what? Kerry Bryant wins off of these kind of layoffs. I remember Big Star last year came off an 842-day layoff, and Homestead came off a 413-day layoff to win, only to be disqualified. The last time we saw Kansas Comet was at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. He showed good speed that day. He battled with a big long shot who ended up finishing last, and he drew away under a drive to earn a very respectable speed figure. What are we going to get off of a long layoff? I have no idea. I'm just hoping that maybe Kansas Comet is dismissed at a solid enough price due to the layoff.
Who goes with him? Is it Inside Baby Oscar for Niall Seville? Is it a horse like Kunuz, the 2, who I thought ran okay first time for Kieran at Pimlico on the turf? I think this guy's got to be used in a mix. Went into that fast pace just to fade a little bit. But you key up, a bunch of horses ran on May 11th. Keen Surge ran the fastest of those. It was a split race.
I think Canoes has to go to the front, and I wonder if Keen Surge comes out of the split race, because that was a fast early, slow late.
Yes.
Look at the fractions that Canoes was chasing, a 46 flat half mile, and then he actually made a second move into that race before tiring. I think Canoes this time around under Caramanos is going to break and try to establish the lead as he did in a sprint 3 starts back. He could be tough to catch, and he could make things miserable for Kansas Comet if he's on a hard chase. What about the 6 in here? Better watch it.
I like the protect move up in claiming price off the break. Ran very well. Mission Artemis in front of Gotta Be Proud, who beat my horse Keen Surge. So I think moving up second off the break, I think there's a lot to like here with better watch. Again, it's a race where do you want to take a short price on Keen Surge or better watch it? So maybe I'm just going to tab the tote, go elsewhere. If Kieran's horse gives me a little bit more value, saying that 6-8 to 1 range, maybe I end up there. Keen Surge, I have to use, though. He's on our horse to watch list, and Ricky's done well. I'll be a little bit better with the second time off the claim on the dirt than turf. I still like his chances today because I think there's going to be enough flow.
5, 6, 2, and 3 for Keith. 1A, 5, 6, and 7 for me in race number 7. Let's kick off the first leg of our late daily double with race number 8. We're going 7/8 of a mile. Field of 7. It's our feature race of the afternoon, a second level allowance race for fillies and mares. The number 1, Haint Blue, will be ridden by Gene Briseno. This race has an optional claiming range from 40 down to 32. My Flicker is your top selection in this race. We have a video spotlight for the Phil Cap mare.
Yeah, Phil Cap won 2 races back for 40 for the 7-year-old mare. But I thought this race was really, really good. Look at those internals, 21-4, 46 flat, and just getting hounded, battling every step of the way. My Flicker had every right to just go ahead and fade. Devil's Pays and Gold is the one that's going to kind of go ahead and benefit. But all in all, really sharp. Dan, I just don't see anybody with her kind of speed. And I think it's 7/8. She's gotten it done before. I think she's got a chance to relax a little bit more today. second time off the claim and control things up front.
The only nitpick is the horse doesn't change leads in the stretch, but you're absolutely right. My Flicker had to do all the dirty work in that race, and she's not going to have to work nearly as hard to get to the front in here. And if she drops down fractions of 23.46, it could be all over but the shouting. She's a real consistent horse, second off the Phil Cap claim. Ginger Girl's where I'm going to go on the outside. Ginger Girl, I thought ran pretty well last time out. Kind of got a really nice ride from Ty, who saw the pace setter drifting on the backstretch, and she decided to go for it. So she split horses, eventually made the lead in the rail, and then held on despite getting out a little bit late. Joanne Schenkel sent out a repeat winner, Zero Blitz, the other day, so when they're sharp, they often stay sharp for this barn. I'm hoping that Ginger Girl can stay within tracking range, because I don't think the pace is going to be too fast.
No, I think she's going to set up shop fairly close, a couple lengths out of it. I don't know if she wants to go early into my Flicker, but I think she wants to stay within range. That race, and I remember calling this chart, that was impressive to me. I know the number, it's a 70 buyer, but I didn't see that race coming for her. I didn't see her getting that much play. Bet down to 2-1 against some good horses. Marvelous into the mix, Social Lady horses that can jump up and run mid-70s. I didn't see that. Will she pair it up? That's the $1 million
Especially
question.
turning back to a 7 furlong distance.
That's going to be a key. Golden Charm. It's another one I throw into the mix for Linda Albert. Hasn't been seen since September. But man, she got on a little bit of a roll off a 259-day break today. But she's 13-14 in the money at Laurel. I think she can go 14-15.
I'm a Cutie Pie is one of the keys to this race, because the last time we saw her, she was completely overmatched in the Barbara Fritchie against Irish Maxima, who came back to win a Grade 3 in New York with a 92 buyer speed figure. Her prior effort at this distance over this track was very, very good, a 73 buyer. What do we get off of a layoff here?
I'm not sure. I really don't. I think she's got positional speed again. She's going to have to be really tied on to finish up and finish with a couple of these. Too Many Kisses, the horse I've been chasing. I really liked her last time. She got that flow. We showed it. She just didn't kick on. Maybe second time off the break. I'm not going to give up on her just yet.
She's got back class. Remember, she won a stakes over this distance last year. 3.724 for Keith, 7.365 for me in the featured 8th race. Let's close things out with race number 9. We're going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. It's a maiden special weight for Maryland bred or sired, 3-year-olds and up. Take out the 5. Need a Miracle. Lots of horses trying turf for the first time, and I want to start things off with my top pick, the 8 Stars Align. We have a video spotlight for Stars Align, who comes out of a similar race as Happy This Day.
Yeah, these two are both involved and both a little trouble out of the gate. Look at this little bounce around, little pinball action in those first, 15, 20 yards, and that hurt them both, and they find themselves well back over that muddy sealed surface of Pimlico, but both bring a run.
Both bring a run, and I think that's really a sign that they have some class, because they don't have a lot of experience. You're going to see Stars Align down on the inside kicking. You're going to see Happy This Day, maybe a little bit green on the outside on the left lead, but a horse that's really running on also. Melancia was the favorite that day. Melancia got away with an easy lead. Remember, this was also a wet track off-turf race. Stars Align likely wants to be on the turf. We have a trainer stat from Michael Trombetta. Second out maidens, first-time turf, 24%, big ROI, $3.51. We'll see if Stars Align can settle outside this time around and come with a finish. Your top pick is the number 2, Fani, who does have some turf pedigree.
Well, this is a full Defia, and we saw the talent that one displayed on the go back. Was a private purchase or a one-maker sale, and he was fast. This guy had trouble out of the gate in that race in debut at Pimlico. Let's see if the speed shows up. Is also kin to Seep, a horse we're going to see tomorrow, who's done, okay on the turf. At Fani, a little bit of shot, a 10-1 morning line. I don't see any real big speed in here. I'd like to see it for Fani.
I wonder if Silver Trinket maybe shows a little bit of early speed because she's going to be fresh off a 3-month layoff, making her turf debut for Brittany Russell. We do have a trainer stat for Brittany. Experienced maidens making the first start on the turf, 5 for the last 13, 38%, a big ROI of over $4. Silver Trinket has lost as the favorite in 3 of her 5 starts and has lost to 2-1 in 4 of those races, but maybe turf's what she's waited for. I'm not a big fan of the gift boxes on the grass.
You don't use the 4 into the mix. Happy this day. We showed you the video, a little green. But, man, I guess, is it the top side they got you off? Because on the bottom side, no satisfaction. 10 for 30 sprinting on the turf. She was good.
Not only does she have the pedigree on the bottom to go on the turf, but we know Milan Milosevic does very well with turf runners as well. This horse did kick on. It was a good experience. We showed the start of the race last time out. I won't be surprised. I can't use everybody.
I know.
It's a wide open race. But I like where you're going with Fani, with the pedigree. Should be a price for Suzanne Stettinius. 2, 8, 4, and 1. I'm going 8, 2, 1, and 6. Value play time on just such a very competitive card.
Yeah.
I had trouble finding a value play. You're going with Stormy Irish Lights.
I am. For race 5, number 8. I don't know. We're going to come down some off of that 9-2 morning line. I demand at least 7-2. We got to get that. I still think there's some questionable speed up top. Trouble in that return try. A lot of trouble. A little stumble, a little bump, and then never got a chance to relax. I think she might be able from this outside post settle and make one run.
I saw enough from Enduring Gold's turf debut to make me want to go back to this horse. I think he can stalk and pounce, but it is a pretty big step up in class, so I wouldn't take anything less than that 3-1 morning line. It is a super competitive 9-race program. You can go many different ways. We hope we gave you at least a couple of opinions that'll help you out with your wagering. The good news is Callie Francois and Dave Rodman will take you through the entire 9-race card. And speaking of Dave Rodman, he's up right now with scratches and changes.
All right, good luck.